Alright, Chapter 2, Section 2, Pyramids on the Nile. Sphinx, bro. So, when we look at Egypt, the first thing that we have to notice is how long it was around for. It's over 2,000 years. Compare this to the Roman Empire, 500 years. The United States of America, a mere 238 years. Christianity, 2,000 years ago. Islam, less than 1,500 years ago. So we're talking about a truly great civilization in regards to how long it had lasted for. So the crux of the civilization comes down to the river, the Nile River, that provides the Egyptians with the necessary water for irrigation as well as drinking. And it was a challenge because the Nile River is very hard to predict, and it often has very big heavy floods that can destroy lots of property at once. And originally, before Egypt became one, it was split into Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. It's very confusing when you look at that map, but it makes sense because Lower Egypt is where the land is lower, and Upper Egypt is where the land is higher up in terms of altitude. So we're talking about height here. We're not talking about north and south when we talk about Upper and Lower Egypt. Don't get them confused. Now, Upper Egypt was mainly desert country, while Lower Egypt was full with more fertile soil. And eventually the two merge, and when the two merge, interesting sort of extra history trivia here, both sides had a crown. So you can see there's a white kind of crown that's sort of I'm not sure what kind of shape that is. Let's just say a circle-ish one, and the Lower Egypt had a more flat hat. So when the two merged as unified Egypt, they just decided to merge the crowns as well, as you can see in figure 3. Moving on, so the first person to unite Egypt was King Narmer, and he made Memphis the first capital. So he was known as the first pharaoh. So in Egypt, the leaders were god kings. So they controlled everything from religion to government to military, and their power was absolute. And they ran their governments based on theocracy, which means religion. So this is another key term that will come out over and over throughout the quarters: theocracy, a government based on religion. So there's a little flag there. See if you can guess that flag. That country exists today, and it's run based on a theocracy. So the pharaohs were thought to have power even after they died, which is why after they died they were mummified and they were kept, to make sure their bodies, would be preserved as long as possible by getting rid of their insides and putting salt inside their body. So they were truly god kings. Now, elaborate tombs were built for the pharaohs, and many of them, especially in the earlier ages of Egypt, were buried in the pyramids. And the pyramids are an incredible mystery because they are just massively big in size and also very, very heavy, made out of very heavy, heavy rocks. So to give you an idea of how tall it is, it's about as tall as or a little bit taller than what the London Eye would be today. Now, so many mysteries revolving around the pyramids. People have written books about them. People have made careers out of them. So just briefly going to go over a few theories. So one theory of how the pyramids were built were that there are these large ramps that were around them, and then the ramps were destroyed once the pyramids were set. Another theory is that there was an internal ramp used. So by having an internal ramp, people were able to build these astronomically large pyramids. Another theory is that pyramids might have been underwater. Right, this has to do part of the water erosion theory, how the Sphinx nose is a bit eroded, that maybe it was all underwater at one point. And this is a little bit far-fetched, but there's a theory that Noah from the Bible may have built the Great Pyramid. Again, these are all just theories. Obviously, some theories much more stronger than others. This last one probably being the most ridiculous of the four. So why do we look at the pyramids? Well, because pyramids and buildings are symbols, right? They're symbols of society. So if we look at New York in 1900, or if we look at Abu Dhabi in the 21st century, these major buildings, whether it be the Sears building in New York, or it be large towers in Abu Dhabi and Dubai today, they're symbolic of how much civilization is advanced during that time period. When it comes to religion, Egyptians were polytheistic. They believed in 2,000 gods and goddesses. They believed in the sun god Ra, and they believed in life after death, that people will be judged based on their deeds. So speaking of life after death, they'd get sent to this guy, very scary looking guy, Anubis, and he would weigh the heart of someone, and if the heart was light enough, they would go up to heaven. If the heart was too heavy, they would sink down to hell. Now, Egyptians truly believed in this life after death, and they even have a book called the Book of the Dead, which actually gave people a guide what to do once they were mummified and perhaps in the afterlife. In regards to social classes, it's kind of like a pyramid. At the top you got the pharaohs, in the middle you have these merchants and different traders. And what made social classes unique in Egypt in comparison to these other ancient civilizations is that women had the same rights as men. It is very different from other civilizations we're going to look at pretty much all the way up to the 20th century, that women had equal rights as men in ancient Egypt. Their writing was hieroglyphics, where they wrote on pieces of paper called papyrus. And here are some examples of hieroglyphics. As you can see, it's what we call pictography. And here's a fun little activity we'll do in class where you can write your own name in hieroglyphics. So this is my name, for example, here. Here is a copyright disclaimer. Have an excellent day. Goodbye.